Welcome everybody to Inside Arm Wrestling, the home for all news on arm wrestling, fitness, strength, and fitness competitions. The internet is buzzing, folks. It is buzzing when it comes to arm wrestling. The biggest match of the year, the rematch, Devon Larratt versus Denis Sinkoff, is in the books, folks. No short of a dominant one-sided victory from Devon Larratt. And folks, I don't know that there's quite a bit of disappointment or any kind of feelings that this was not going to be a one-sided event. I know there's a lot of Denis Sinkoff fans out there. Denis is a seemingly very humble, modest, well-natured arm wrestler, a gentle giant, if you will, compared to the overly aggressive and at times obnoxious Devon Larratt. Certainly, to be a showman, Devon has perfected that heel or antagonistic value to the matches he brings to the table to promote them. But folks, I don't think anybody had any misconceptions that the strength of Devon Larratt was at an all-time high. The physicality of Denis Sinkoff was maybe at an all-time low. Even to look at the man as he faced off the day before with Devon in front of Engen, Denis did not look like the Denis of old. And Father Time holds the clock for no one. Certainly Denis showed a body that was quite a bit more weathered, quite a bit smaller, quite a bit more tired, if you will, against a body in Devon Larratt that was just massive. Even from the handshake, you could see the uncomfortable nature of Denis and really the dominant feature of Devon as the two squared off. Devon goes to the airwaves right after, folks, and lets everyone know his hand was not what he thought it was. His hand was not what it used to be. Folks, though there could be some gamemanship with that, ideally there is, but the reality to that statement is Devon is pretty consistent with the message that he's delivering. If he didn't feel comfortable, he probably would have said, "I don't feel comfortable with his hand," but it was certainly not the case. Devon enjoyed really a dominant win, feature 3-0. At one point, I think it was the third match, Devon flashes Denis off of the go. A little bit of controversy there, folks. I think that sportsmanship is something that perhaps we lose sometimes with our staff and our handlers, and in this case, perhaps with Jody Larratt. I think there was some controversy in the fact that they were up in Denis's area, even off the go. It looked like Denis didn't hear the go. But folks, listen, there is not an excuse to that. You are an arm wrestler. It is your job to be ready. It is your job to anticipate the go. To hear the go, not hear the go, feel distracted, that is not really an argument to me that will carry weight. And if you look at any of the post interviews and any of the comments that Denis has been talking about with his match, he makes no excuses from what we've seen or what we heard. He just was not the better man on the table. And it really begs to ask the question, has Denis leveled down on his arm wrestling abilities? And is that level unachievable for him to get to again? Certainly Devon is on a much higher level than Denis. And one man with Levin Sangalelli in the real glasses or view of Devon, he is the last man out there at this point that he would want any redemption from. I just don't think that there's anyone else there out there that at this level of arm wrestling that Devon has achieved can compete with the man. He's stronger. He's faster. He's more dynamic. He has more, as we call it, lanes to drive through on the table. He's not singular faceted. He's not bifaceted. He's really multifaceted. He can take you to the press. He can take you to the hook. He can top roll you. He can play a defensive game. He can counter on your game. He can rise on your hands. He can post. There's not a lot of positions out there that Devon Larratt can't go to that he isn't the most dominant arm wrestler on the planet right now in, with maybe the exception of strength with Levin. And when we see that match come back, we'll have to see exactly how Levin feels and how that body looks after an injury and a tear, to see if he can put back that strength, that incredible, massive Hulk strength that he's known for, and really has put the only factor of challenge against Devon in front of him. Give us your comments, folks. Do you think that Dennis is someone that can come back and put enough? And unfortunately, folks, if you're not real, then it's not really educational for you. Put enough gear or take enough supplementation into his body that can redevelop the strength that he once had. Maybe it's stem cells. Maybe it's a combination of stem cells and better gear and time. Because he really looks like he's behind the strength time at this juncture. Give us your thoughts. Is the Devon Levon match the next best match out there? Is that the match that everyone wants to see? Does every other match end up being quite a bit, a disappointment to just that match? I think so. As a fan of arm wrestling, I don't know that I want to see Devon pull anyone else. I don't think there's anyone else for him to pull. That makes sense. I don't know that anybody else has leveled up to a point what would make sense. I think that the Levon Devon match is really the last match of this year or next year that makes any kind of credible sense to determine who the best arm wrestler in the world is right now. But give us your thoughts. Go into the comments. Let us know what you think the next best match for Devon is, and will the Levon Devon match happen in the next 6 months? Let us know. We're going to continue on that East versus West. We're actually going to have 2 episodes this week on East versus West. This is episode 1. We're going to talk a little bit about the John Brzenk, Sasha Andreev arm wrestling competition and challenge, or face off and finals, or however you want to term what they were pulling for. I think that there was a heavyweight belt on the line. I think John, it was a bit lighter than perhaps Sasha was. I'm not sure about the weigh-ins, what the official weights were, but let's kind of talk about that match. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, folks. Obviously, John lost, and when you have the greatest of all time in a position where he is continuing to lose, what I really want to ask, folks, is the question: do you think that John Brzenk should retire? Or should John Brzenk become more of an ambassador of arm wrestling and do more value type pulling, meaning at events and appearances, than pulling in these high stake tournaments or these high stakes super matches? He's just not done well. And John is one of the most humble, one of the most polite, easygoing guys out there. And certainly 97% of the arm wrestlers in the world cannot beat John today. But we're not dealing with 97% of the arm wrestlers in the world right now. We're dealing with that last 3%. We're dealing with the upper echelon elite, which happen to be truly the European market. And John is just not faring well. Is there a point at this time in his career that you as the fans think that John Brzenk should look to stop pulling on a super stage type format and look to maybe become that ambassador of the sport? Take the route that many of the greats recently have done, and see if there's an opportunity for him to retool his game and to be able to look and level up into the next level that many of these European pullers are pulling at. Let us know your thoughts, folks, in the comments. We'd love to see John continue to pull. We want to see him pull at the highest level. But like every great hero, watching your hero fall short, in this case, way short to Sasha, is not necessarily a good feeling, because you really want to cheer for the man. We'll continue to cheer for him. However, his time on the table on the highest level may be over. Give us your thoughts. And folks, our final story of the day, Brandon Allen back at 300 pounds, posting up some reels, posting up some strength videos, looking massive, just looking as if he's regaining that old form, post weight cut down to the 250, 240 range. Posting earlier in the week that he's up in the 300 pounds, showing some big lifts. He's got on December 9th at the Arizona State arm wrestling event, Carlos Zamorano in a super match. Now, Carlos Zamorano is not a prolific super heavyweight by any means. Brandon Allen is certainly looking to take one step at a time in terms of his career, recently pulling Casey Stevens. Casey just coming out of the amateur class into the pro class. A big man, certainly a man that has a lot of power in his hands, as he is a competitive slap fighter, but maybe not the caliber or level of talent that one would expect Brandon Allen maybe to be pulling at this time. Brandon's been on the scene for quite a while. His strength is historic. I mean, he is not by any means lacking in the strength department. He certainly looks like he's been putting a lot of time on the table. But we want to ask the question, do you think that Brandon Allen right now is in the conversation of top-level North American super heavyweights? You look at guys like Corey West, Derek Smith, Cody Merritt, Paul Passmore, Robbie Burnett, guys that have been around for quite a while and very successful. Those are some of the bigger super heavyweight names. Throw in a Paul Cruz, throw in an Alexander Yankovsky, throw in some of these active super heavyweights that are pulling, looking for that higher rung of that second level heavyweight. And Corey West certainly is, on a world stage. Derek Smith is as well. They're both pulling in some of these big super matches. But has Brandon Allen done enough to be considered a top super heavyweight? He is absolutely a fantastic person and one of the most genuine, generous guys that you'll ever meet. He is absolutely one of the strongest men that walk this earth in feats of strength that are just unrivaled by most and any athlete, not just most athletes, by any athlete in any sport. Do you find that Brandon Allen is the next up-and-coming super heavyweight? We want to know what you think. With this December 9th event out in Arizona against Zamorano, is this the next step for Brandon? Is Brandon not pulling up to his potential? Should we be looking for Brandon to pull some bigger matches, some higher profile opponents that have accomplished a little bit more in the world of arm wrestling? Or are we looking at him strategically trying to place himself with a few victories to get the invite to get to the bigger stages, the world stages of King of the Table in Dubai, or East versus West in Turkey? Is this the plan? Is it strategic? We want to know, how do you think Brandon Allen rates? Where do you see him? Is he a top 10 super heavyweight in North America? Top 20 super heavyweight in North America? Shouldn't it be in the discussion as a super heavyweight in North America? Give us your thoughts. I'll tell you one thing about Brandon Allen. He should always be in the top people of arm wrestling. Just an incredibly humble, generous, and good-natured guy. We'd love to see him get to the next level, but we want to know your honest opinion. Give us your comments in the space below. And folks, as always, comments, likes, notifications are huge for us. We really appreciate it. This has been Greg Sharp, Inside Arm Wrestling, signing off. Remember to pull safe, have fun out there, folks, and make sure that you hit the like and subscribe and follow us on all of our media platforms so that you can stay in touch with not only Inside Arm Wrestling, but all the news with World Series of Arm Wrestling as well. Folks, if you like these stories and you want to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe to our page. Also hit the notification bell underneath the video so that way you're notified every time a new video comes out. And if you're on social media, specifically Instagram, go to the World Series of Arm Wrestling Instagram page. Please follow it. We'll try to follow you back, but it'll keep you up to date with all of the news and events in the world of arm wrestling.